right around the 14-minute mark where Lady Snots a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And she just went, I was like, that's a lot of snot. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is a deep dive into the world created by the Dark Crystal of the 80s.
Okay. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is a new take on a classic Jim Henson tale.
The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is what I imagine drugs were like in the 80s. Just like you said.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode so that you don't have to. We laugh a lot, sometimes with good reason, sometimes not. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg is the CEO, co-chair, co-champion, tag team champion of the world.
All right.
It's a violent tag.
Yeah, that's what happens. We are here with a very special guest, meteorologist Katie, otherwise known as Katie Nicolau. Hello.
Hey there. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. She's got a lot of fun stories to tell us.
Oh,
Stay
yes.
tuned for those. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I feel like wearing a Megadeth shirt was befitting of a show that I feel is kind of metal. It's kind of
Oh, yeah.
The show is kind of metal, to be perfectly honest. It felt
It's more
very
crystal, I think.
80s.
Ah.
All right, is this thing on? Okay.
Hello, isn't anybody there?
Hello.
So, first things first, if you want us to review and watch a show, first episode of one, just tell us in the comments below. Feel
Or if
free
you
to
want us
say,
to just review the show but not watch it, we could do that too.
yeah, just say WTF News Radio.
Ooh.
Or I've got to think of something new. Or WTF Taxi. Wait, yeah, Taxi was one.
Yeah, we haven't done Taxi.
Right. Or WTF Gummy Bears. Or whatever.
Hey, we would do
Any
that.
kind of show or series, we'll watch it, we'll review it. If we don't like it, we're going to tear it apart.
We're
If
gonna
we do
give you
like
the
it, then we might watch the second.
Unvarnished truth.
And Michael likes to remind us to please make sure you are subscribed. Please make sure to give us a like, comment below, and enjoy the show. That's in order. First things first, we compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. So for this podcast, oh, by the way, who recommended this for us, Michael? Kenyon Rosenberg.
There was Katie Carr.
That's right. Another
times,
Katie.
actually.
Another Katie.
Yeah.
Our good friend, Miss Katie Carr, huge Voyager fan. Are you a big Voyager fan too, Katie?
Massive. She is my favorite. Kate is my captain. Oh my
That's
gosh.
3 Kates.
Yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
Well, Kate Mulgrew and Kate Janeway. So this is a Kate kind of day.
It's a loop.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Katie Carr, Katie Couric, and Kate Mulgrew. And here we go. What we expected versus what we got. This is where we talk about what we expected before we watched it and what it ended up being. Michael, what did you expect before you watched any of this?
Well, I expected to be whisked away to a fantasy world of the Dark Crystal.
Wait a minute. That was a close one. The first thing we do is my favorite part of the entire show, which is predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's true.
I almost killed
Good
us
catch.
there.
Good save.
Thank you.
How did I forget that one?
Yeah. So predictions. Michael and I have known each other for over 20 years. We like to predict what the other person thought of this. And Katie, feel free to join in the fun.
Yeah.
We like to test our friendship, test our mettle. First things first, I believe Michael actually... I thought about this actually ahead of time while I was showering, because that's when I think of you.
You
And
guys have a great friendship right there.
Yeah.
yeah, despite comments like that.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking about it in the shower, and I actually upped my prediction. I was going to say you thought you liked it, but then I was like, you know what? This has almost everything that Michael likes. Artistry. It has a lot of mythology. It has, a lot of well, whatever. I don't want to get into my opinions of the show, but I feel like it has magic. You love magic. So I think you're actually very high on this. I think you liked it
Was
very
there
much.
magic in the show? I don't really know if
I
there
mean, a
was
magic crystal, right? I
A
don't know.
tree.
Yeah.
There's magic everywhere.
Yeah. So I think Michael, I think you liked it very much, like right around the
Oh, for sure.
8 to 9-ish realm. But
I
you'll find a couple
totally
things.
agree. Yeah, with the narrative, the different plots that are going on, and the different paths, and how they're all probably going to intertwine, from what I can guess, I think you really liked it.
And Katie, I think that you also liked it, but significantly less than Michael. That's what I think, because I think you might be in the milieu of the target audiences. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I know Ryan.
You do.
And I've met him before, and what I think that he thought of this is I think he enjoyed it. He likes the Dark Crystal, the movie. I know that about him. But I do think that he thought that this was very slow in the beginning, and it was hard for him to get into it, and maybe he even nodded off a little bit during in the beginning. But closer to the end, he started being like, okay, all right, this is. And I think he's going to like it, definitely less than he thinks that I'm going to like it. And Katie, I think liked it, and I think that she liked it more than Ryan thinks that she liked it.
But do you like him?
That's the real question there.
What do you think, Katie? You said what you thought of Michael. What do you think of me?
I think you found it boring. Maybe a little too much, just level, like not dislike, but not like, just comfortable Goldilocks zone right there.
So you're saying I liked it, but I didn't like it.
You tolerate it.
And this is your third time on the show, by the way. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Wow, it's been 3 times.
I believe so. So
We'll
see how close your predictions are based on those other 2 times. Now, very sorry, Michael. Don't you also tell us the?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Man, I told you.
I'm dropping the balls. Usually, I'm the one that has to remind you like what we have to do, but then now I'm dropping the ball too. So.
I told you I'm all out of order with everything today. Anyway, what's this show about, Michael? And everybody at home, please give us your predictions. Do you think I liked it? Michael liked it? Katie liked it?
Write it out in the live chat right now.
Yes.
Return to the world of Thra, where the 3 Gelflings discover the horrifying secret behind the Skeksis' power and set out to ignite the fires of rebellion and save their world. In this episode, in the land of Thra, a young guard discovers a terrible secret about the Skeksis, overlords who control their planet, and its powerful crystal of truth.
I love how some shows, like, it's just a very quick, oh yeah, it's a bunch of superheroes and they fight things. This one was like a back of a novel.
So now we officially say what we expected versus what we got. Michael, please continue. What did you expect?
Like I was saying before, I expected to be whisked away into a fantasy world populated by fanciful beings and fantastical things.
Nice.
That's what I expected.
Meteorologist Katie, before you watched The Dark Crystal, the first episode entitled End, Begin, All the Same. Excellent grammatical English there.
End, begin,
yes.
all the same.
What did you expect?
See, my view of this show, I believe, was tainted because I follow a YouTuber who talked about his childhood watching this show and how the movie, and how it scarred him for life. So I was, when it came up in the email, I was like, oh, we're watching this show. Oh, okay. I was like ready to not sleep, to just be utterly terrified of everything in it. But yeah.
Nice.
Talk about it, but yeah,
that's a very good expectation. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
like
wanted
that.
it to
That's
be
great.
a horror show.
Usually we're like, I don't know what I expected. I'll tell you what I expected. Speaking of which, since we're on the topic, I expected a revival of something I really liked when I was a kid. I think a lot of kids back in the day like us, Michael, really liked that movie. It was kind of like The Never-Ending Story was a really good one. There was The Dark Crystal. A lot of people also liked Labyrinth, which didn't do it for me, but I know you, Michael, you love that one. There are a couple others like that. Anyway, so I expected a lot of artistic beauty. I expected a lot of nostalgia, and I expected a lot of fun. But that's what we expected. Now, Michael, you know where I'm going with this. Am I right, old chum?
Let me see. Well, I told you what I expected. And so now I think you probably want to know. You probably want to know is like what I actually got when I watched it.
Perfect. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I'm down with it.
No, we should do that from now on. That should be a thing that we do. So what I did get was a beautiful fantasy world. I mean, beautiful art, like you mentioned. Definitely some interesting fantastical beings that we saw in the movie too. But I was a little thrown off because I was like, okay, there's the Skeksis, where are the mystics? There's no crystal shard. Like there's the crystals all in one piece. Like what? I was kind of like a little confused. I was like, wait, does this happen before the movie? It seems like it has to because there's Gelflings in the world and they haven't all been killed off by the Skeksis. And there's no prophecy about the Gelflings taking the Skeksis out. So I was a little bit thrown off by that. I was expecting to go back to the Dark Crystal, but what I got was a Dark Crystal the world of the Dark Crystal that was a little different than what I had really expected, but not in a bad way. I think that they're expanding on the story maybe, and I think that we'll see some stuff to come. So.
What about you, Katie? What did you get actually?
I still got the horror aspect. The Skeksis, like, yeah, oh my gosh. If someone has that ever in the world as their alert tone, and I'm just happening to walk past when that goes off, I will punch like the air violently from where the sound is coming from.
That'll teach that air.
I liked it more than I thought I would, because I'm not I like Harry Potter, but that's about as much fantasy as I get. So I wasn't quite sure, especially like the first 20 minutes, like, okay, well, I really like this whole fantasy fairy stuff, but by the end of the episode, you were pretty well wrapped into the narrative, and I was left wanting more, which I didn't expect, but I actually like it.
Well, I'll tell you what I got. Here we go. Let's see. Beautiful artistry. I expected that. Check. Absolutely. As high as I would have expected, maybe even a little higher. Nostalgia, less of a check. It was nostalgic for me, but it wasn't like I wasn't just back in that world as much, you know. I was more like comparing it to the other and like noticing, oh, that's the same character and then the same thing, or oh, that's interesting how they changed that, you know.
Right.
So medium nostalgia, still good. Fun, that's where we lose ourselves a little bit in my book. It wasn't unfun, you know. I didn't put like sandpaper to my eyeballs, but but I wasn't having fun while I was watching it, you know. It was fine on the fun scale. So that's what we expected.
So what does the fun scale go from though? It's that fine, but does it go from like, this is all right, or not fun at all?
Unfun.
So like,
watching something I don't enjoy watching, like, where it's a chore.
Like a ball pit full of vomit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Like WandaVision was unfun for me.
Really?
No, unfun. It was an unfun shit fest.
And then what's the high level of the fun meter?
Like when I'm watching like He-Man, or you know, where I'm just like, this is so fun, and you know, and I say that
excitement,
just enjoy, like pure enjoyment, you know, like it's between having fun and doing a chore, and this is kind of a little, obviously more towards the fun side. but
So maybe like a 5.5 or a 6 on the fun scale from 1 to 10.
yeah, I mean, if 5 is in the middle and 1 is kill me and 10 is kill me after I finish watching this, I can die happy, then yeah, about 5.5 to 6. But I will say, Michael, that you are right in that things do pick up a little bit. Can you guess where, because yeah, my attention did wander. And at the beginning I was like, I'm just not even really, I'm not here. I'm looking at the artistry. I'm looking at the beauty. I'm thinking about the movie. I'm enjoying that, but I'm not really paying attention to this lecture. Can you guess where it kind of caught my attention the first time?
If I had to guess, and I guess I do have to guess, I would say when the book blows up and like she starts having visions about how the Skeksis are bad or something like that.
It was right around the 14-minute mark where Lady Snots a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And she just, I was like, that's a lot of snot, because like I don't get grossed out very easily at all. But even I caught myself almost kind of like looking away, like, okay, that's enough, Jim Henson Productions.
I thought that was great. Yeah.
It's gag-inducing visuals is the only way to put it.
It's just so viscous. It's
slime. It's like they hired a 5-year-old, said, make us some of that slime that we see online, and then just dropped the entire bucket through the nose.
Well, I think they also said, like, make it more viscous, even so that it flows. It's not just like a long, slow, hanging snot. It's like a snot flow. It was like her nose was puking out snot, dude. And it was so gratuitous. But it grabbed my attention back because otherwise I was just like looking. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And there's Chamberlain, the guy that would love. The guy's like, who's Simon Pegg, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Mark Hamill as the scientist.
When I heard the scientist speak, there was something in the back of my brain that said, hey, you know that person. And so I looked up the cast. This show has some A-listers, just bang, bang, bang.
The snot lady was Aquafina. The emperor guy is Lorca. What's his name? Jason Isaacs.
Yeah.
Oh
Very
my
cool.
gosh.
And I had forgotten that because I remember when this show was first going to come out, before it ever even came out, we saw the cast was all-star cast, which made us more excited to see it. Well, Michael, it sounds like you did like it though, right? Did you like it very much?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, I would say. It's so yeah, despite the fact that like the whole time I'm like, well, where are the mystics? What's going on with the, how come there's all these gelflings? Like I was kind of like in my mind, I was like, but they're telling this longer story. And so I was kind of like wrapped up in that. Like, I want to learn more about this world. I can't wait until they actually get to meet Agra in this one.
Got it. So you're the guy at the Journey concert saying, just play, don't stop believing. I don't want to hear your new stuff. You know why we're here.
Well, I wouldn't really care about their new stuff, but I do want to be taken on the journey along through, the lights that go down in the city.
There you go. Keep it going.
I don't want to stop believing that they're going to tell me more of the story.
What's the one I'm thinking? Damn, I'm trying to think of.
Well, so like the whole time I was watching this, I was like loving it, touching it, feeling it.
You should do the rest of the show like this. Yeah. Only song references.
Yeah. So you were watching it faithfully.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Katie. It's not going to get any better. You just have to adapt. You just got to go with it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had a question for you directly, Michael, and I can't think of it now because we started thinking about Journey songs. But
damn it.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is like I just assumed it was a prequel from the beginning. I don't know if I don't know if I was tipped off before watching it, but as soon as I turned it on, I just had the expectation that it was a prequel. So I didn't get, maybe it's not a prequel, but I think it is, right?
I have no idea. But
Yeah.
that's the assumption. As people, if you're in the live chat or in the comments, tell us, do our homework for us, and tell us, is this a prequel to the Dark Crystal, the movie?
Yeah, and I'm just assuming that Snot Lady is going to die at some point
From
later in the
pneumonia.
season, right? Later in the season, the Mystics are going to show up to counterbalance them with something's going to happen. That's just kind of my assumption, and then maybe it's like 20 years or whatever before.
So here's a thing. In the beginning of the opening, which I know that Ryan did like because it tells us stuff. It tells us like there's 7 clans of Gelflings. Shows us.
But
all
then they
these
only
cool
named 3 of them.
locations.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like,
the
these are
three
the
of-
special ones.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess
Relevant ones,
these are the 3 that are relevant to the story because you've got like the 3 Rian and then Brea and then Deet or whatever.
Yeah, Deet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we assume that at some point they're going to run into other clans,
Right,
maybe the
right.
Water Gelflings or whatever.
But one thing that they said is that the Skeksis were not of Thra.
Mm-hmm.
So they're aliens from somewhere else. But in the movie, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, well, it's from the 80s, so you should have seen it by now.
Yeah, that window is
window's
passed.
Is closed. Like in the movie, the Skeksis were born because the crystal split. And then they split into the Skeksis and the Mystics. And so to me, I don't know, that seems like it's a little bit different. Or I don't know how they would tie that into to the movie if this is a prequel to the movie. To me, it just seems like it might be a completely different story.
A reboot.
Maybe a parallel universe of Thra.
I don't think so. I think it's got it. But you're right that would make it seem like it's a sequel. But the reason I thought it was a prequel is because there are additional characters. And the Skeksis die away, and there's a lady, and there wasn't a lady before. So I'm assuming she just dies and we're in the past.
Well, also, like there was supposedly only 1 or 2 Gelflings left because there was the prophecy that the Gelflings would put an end to the Skeksis. Have you seen the movie, Katie, or are we just totally ruining everything for
I've
you?
seen from the YouTuber, he basically animated the movie into a short, like 20-minute explanation.
Oh, okay.
So I'm vaguely following.
Well, Katie, what did you think of this overall? I mean, was it enjoyable? Was it scary? Was it complicated?
It seemed like my first impression after watching, like, I don't know, throughout watching it really, was this is a kid show that is an adult theme.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has all the puppetry, the visuals, the stunning, and like what makes you look at the TV, but it has the story of a adult TV show. So just that the mixing of the 2 different types of TV really was intriguing to me. But I don't know. It's just it's a strange flavor of a TV show, to put it mildly. It's very unique.
Were you able to get past the puppets? Because that takes me out of it quite a bit.
Yeah.
That I hate to be that guy, but like, I'm like, these are all very clearly puppets. I mean, even Baby Yoda.
Well,
I'm like,
I just want to
just
real quick. I just want to clarify. They're Muppets, Ryan. Muppets.
Big difference.
Well, good thing I know that now.
Just Elmo pops up.
But what do you think, Katie?
No,
did it take you out of it at all?
A little bit. Initially, first probably half of the show, I was like, okay, because they're bringing in new ones every scene, and you're like, okay, these are
and they all
trying
look
to get
alike,
used to it. Yeah, they do look very similar. But eventually, I was thinking about it. If you made this an animation, it just wouldn't work as well. I feel like the story and using the Muppets it works so beautifully because they're both
because everything has I mean, the Muppets worked so much better to me with the Skeksis. The Skeksis look amazing. They're perfect. They're terrific in every way. A+. But when you see the Gelflings, they just look like these little plastic dummies. Like
because their mouths don't articulate.
Right. And when you're trying to do like these big dramatic scenes, and it's just like, right?
Or when they're kissing.
I was just gonna say that, right? And you're just picturing someone going like, oh, this is so hot, and you're like, dude, this is
The
Weird,
poor
man.
puppeteer who's under the table just like, oh my God, what is my life?
Now somebody make kissing sounds.
Yeah. They weren't instructed to, and they did it anyway.
And
That would be even worse.
they tried to be a little sexy with it too at one point in the catacombs or whatever it was. Like she was just like, ooh.
She's like,
I'll take it.
ugh.
Man.
And the whole like, let's share our memories thing.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that
Vulcan
they have
mind
that
meld.
ability. Yeah.
That's a cool
Well-
ability, but being like, ooh, let's touch hands.
But not only that, but they like there's that one necklace that had the farmer's daughter's mother's
Babysitter's
memories.
uncle. Oh.
yeah, memories left in the crystal in there, in that was in that necklace. So not only that they can share their memories with each other, but it seems like they can imprint them into objects and leave them for future generations.
You know, I could see totally like horrible repercussions with those. Like when you know you're dying, you're just like, I'm going to tell people what I actually think about them. You croak and then here you go. Don't like you, you're okay. Don't like you, just savage memory dump right there.
Yeah, memorable dumps.
Yep.
When I was
put it that way.
when I was a kid, though, definitely this guy was my favorite. Is that him? Is that Chamberlain? Yeah, he was definitely my favorite, and I remember I used to love going, you know, doing
Skeksis.
and I loved him, and I was so happy that he was back. And the Skeksis seemed largely unchanged as far as the way they looked, and I was so happy. You know, nobody wants updated Skeksis. Nobody wants them to be like reimagined. We've reimagined them with horns and wings. No, dude, just give me this. So thank goodness, A+ for them looking the same. Obviously, they gave them more motion and, you know, maybe a little more detail, but they're the same thing, right?
Yeah, the Gelflings look the same as the movie. The Pod People, the Landstriders. I mean, everything. Agra kind of seemed look the same. The little flash that we got over in the opening.
Those Landstriders were great too.
Yeah.
Landstriders were those like rabbits that run, those tall rabbits.
Okay.
That go. Ooh.
Do that noise again.
Yeah. What?
I can't unless I'm doing the finger motion.
Oh, do them both again then.
Okay. Since everybody wants it so bad, everybody's clamoring in the live chat. They're like, do it. So it goes a little something. No, you know what? Actually, the time is gone. I'm done.
All right. Well, I'll just
Leave them wanting
rewind it.
more.
I'll just rewind it and paste it in that you did it twice.
You guys should
Someone
all
edits
try it
together
now.
a video that's just that.
So Michael has done the Skeksis. I've done the Landstriders. Katie, do your impression of something. There's no fizz gig either, sadly.
Gosh.
Well, yeah.
I don't even, just like, when the girl gets turned to juice.
Milk, yeah.
Yeah.
Just in like just a completely emotionless face. Just, it was, oh my gosh. I don't know why that part sticks with me. But I think when I go back and think of this episode, it'll just be just staring through a grate at your girlfriend getting juiced.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's got to be a pretty traumatic thing for both of them. I mean, obviously for her, she doesn't feel anything anymore, but it must have been traumatic.
It's not
at
the kind of trauma that stays with her.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when I watched it, I was like, this is the moment where it is not a kid's show. Like, I can get past the oh my gosh, I keep wanting to say sexies. They are not the Skeksis.
Freudian slip there, huh?
Yeah. Oh god.
I'm bringing Skeksis back.
Which was the sexiest of them to you?
Chamberlain.
Yeah, chambermaid.
It's that purple hue. It does everything.
And we found out his name was Skeksil. I feel like that was a new addition, was giving all of them actual names. So they had a name and a title, whereas before they just had a title. So there was Skeksil, there was like Skekshaw or whatever.
Yeah, like Skektil.
I
had to keep my phone.
Skekso was the emperor.
Skeklock was
Skeksil was the chamberlain.
Skeklock was the girl, and Skektek was the scientist.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
Yeah.
Skekzok, Skeklock, Skekayuk, Skekekt, Skekok.
Someone just made gurgling sounds in their throat and said, "That's a name."
Put Skek at the beginning of it, and then whatever. They're the
There
Skeksis.
Right.
The Skeksis. We're the Skeks.
I like that. I thought that was good. That's what this show is what they basically were like, okay, we have 10 episodes to expand on the lore of the Dark Crystal. And the movie itself gave us enough to build a whole world around it. And so I think that's what they did, which is cool. I wish that the story were a little bit more interesting, in that probably would have been better had they not tried to introduce all of the characters and storylines at once, but just followed one or two, and then the next episode add another, that kind of thing. But they definitely, especially because like you guys said, the Gelflings look so similar. I'm like, maybe this is a new character I'm seeing. Maybe this is the character from 2 scenes ago. I can't really tell. Like
That's
the one girl, I
racist.
called her Moss Child. The Moss girl that was tripping balls off of
I
eating
called
moss.
her cave girl.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, cave girl. Actually, I had that too, but moss. Yeah, and then tripping balls girl.
She made that moss look delicious, though.
That thing that she fed, though, just like all puppets, it grabbed the moss and it just fell right out of its mouth. And she's like, "Oh, you like that, don't you?" I'm like, "No, he just spit it right out immediately." Don't like Cookie Monster. We're supposed to pretend like Cookie Monster's eating, but we see all the cookies just falling everywhere.
That's why
They're
he
lying.
keeps eating them. He doesn't know what they truly taste like.
Well, he knows what they taste like, but they don't nourish him because he
Yeah.
doesn't swallow them. He only gets
That's
the
why he
flavor on
doesn't
his
gain
tongue.
weight.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is the important question here. Who's your favorite character so far in the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance and Begin All the Same?
Trying to remember their names.
You can just call them Moss Child,
Right.
and
Yeah. The
And
scientist dude.
the girl that, like, was the girl in the library also the girl that fell in front of the car?
Yeah.
They have Skeksis have cars? Or
They have like Pillbug cars.
They have, but I mean, they must have cars if they're not of this world. They must have a spaceship, so of course they got it. Anyway,
Well, yeah, it's like they're kind of, their car is just on the backs of these roly polies, and
oh, is that what it was?
yeah, remember they're these little they
Right.
crawl up there and they get underneath the wheels and then they turn into balls and then they just start rolling.
Yeah,
Which the physics there doesn't quite work out, but I'll let that pass.
yeah, magic.
Considering I didn't pass physics myself, I'm not one to talk.
So was that the same girl?
Yeah, Brea.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hard. Anyway, so who is your favorite character?
So are we talking about Gelflings or Skeksis or everybody all together?
Yeah, all together. Because I'm gonna guess that nobody's favorite was a Gelfling.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They're just not likable, I don't think.
If I had to choose a Gelfling, I would say Brea, because she's got that huge library.
Brainza.
And it seems like maybe she has some access to magic. When she activates the book and it gives her visions, and so I mean, to me, anytime you have a character that's like learned and has access to all these cool books, and then that's a plus for me. But obviously, we love the Skeksis, and obviously we love Lord Chamberlain. So, I mean, they don't call him Lord Chamberlain; they just call him the Chamberlain. But I guess they're all lords to the Gelflings anyway.
Right. What about you, Katie? Do you have a favorite?
I think it's the scientist guy that Mark Hamill voices.
Because of Mark Hamill.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Mark Hamill. No, but
It
I really
sounds like the
his,
Joker almost, right? Like,
it does, and I think that's why I really like the character, is because I'm drawn to the performance. So, and like the Gelflings, it's like if beige were a species, it's them. So it instantly is not one of them.
Yeah, taupe.
grayish. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's got to be the Chamberlain, too.
Yeah.
Just because he was my favorite as a kid. Nothing
Right.
here. Although I will say, I maybe liked him less in this than I did in the movie. Because I'm like, they make him talk like an idiot more than the others. And I guess maybe they kind of did in the movie. I can't quite remember. But I felt like they upped it a bit. They made him talk like an idiot times 2. You know, if that makes sense. So that I didn't much care for them, you know, giving him lines that made him seem like clearly he's got this coy mind where he's just super thinker and cunning. So you would think he'd be able to put together a full sentence, but I don't know.
It's a cover. You can't let them know.
Maybe. Yeah, but the Gelflings were, I kind of almost like the one dude that had the thickest accent, Gurgen. Kind of almost.
Captain?
No, Gurgen was the guy that the lovebirds brought along with them.
Oh,
They're like
The third
the guy that
wheel.
wanted to nap. Yeah, the third wheel, right? Because he had a thicker accent. They all had British accents. All the Gelflings.
Spinner!
Why did they all have British accents?
Gelflings
wanted-
are from Britland.
I so badly wanted one of them to just pop up and be like, "Hello there," just for fun.
Cheerio.
Maybe Thra is like an English world from Britain that was like in a parallel universe. There's this whole planet of Brits, but then these Skeksis come from America.
But the Skeksis
They
didn't
would.
have they didn't have an accent. And I feel like the
They're not of
podlings-
Thra though. Also,
the podlings didn't have a British accent either. They almost seemed all like, I didn't want to
Eastern
speculate.
European.
Yeah, they were kind of seemed like some kind of stereotype that seemed rude that I just was like, I'm not sure what they're trying to do with these poor guys, and they're ugly too.
Aw, they're cute.
They're like little pudgy. What is the mandrakes in Harry Potter? They're like more evolved mandrakes.
They're just little potatoes.
What are mandrakes? I
You
know.
don't know what
mandrake.
mandrakes are?
It's a magical root bean.
Yeah, it'll kill you if you hear it scream. They basically covered a baby in dirt, shoved it in a pot, and said mandrake.
You just
Wait,
have
my-
to see Harry Potter. It's
Oh
actually
boy, am I missing out with this
Wait,
Harry
you
Potter
haven't seen Harry
series.
Potter?
Look,
a mandrake root is actually much older than Harry Potter. So it was reappropriated for Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, but the mandrake root is like an old ancient witches used it for magical purposes.
well, look, that's a more fascinating story than the first Harry Potter. I know.
How dare you?
I said it and I meant it. The first Harry Potter, I was just like, oh, I see. So it's children's version of the Lord of the Rings. I mean, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't for me. I was like, hey. And then I feel like somebody tried to get me to watch the second one. And I'm just like, look, fool me once, whatever. Right. And I still kind of watched the second one. And I feel like it was worse than the first. So I was
Oh
like,
my
I'm
gosh,
done.
no.
All I
Moving
know
on.
about Harry Potter is
You haven't seen it either.
No, you've seen them all, I'm
I've seen
sure.
them all.
Oh.
I've
Yeah,
read
of
I've read all
course,
the
Mike
books
has.
also.
Okay.
But here's what I remember about Harry Potter. I remember everyone's like, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. I was like, what the heck is this stupid Harry Potter thing that everyone keeps talking about? And then like I saw the first movie and I was like, oh, it's about wizards? I'm in. I
Right.
read all the books, watched all the movies, and I'm definitely in it. Not my favorite to support J.K. Rowling now that we know that she's kind of transphobic and weird, but
But did you like it better than Lord of the Rings?
no.
Okay, good.
Oh.
Then proceed.
No, I'm weird. I'm in it for the theme park. I love Harry Potter and the movies, just like the early ones. Once you get past the third one, it's just too dark. But
Oh,
there's
that's what I
Harry-
liked. Once you get to number 4, I was like, all right, now it's heating up.
You get the happy,
Please.
colorful, just magical vibes, and then you
They
step
like
to the
ride
theme
on a
park. and you're like,
train or something? Get
yes,
outta
it's a
here.
magical train through Scotland. Who doesn't want that?
Yes.
So the Dark Crystal,
Yes. Anyway.
the Dark Crystal was not Harry Potter.
Gelflings were kind of like a playoff of elves, basically.
Yeah, elflings, gelflings, obviously. Yeah.
They're like little. My favorite line, the one I remember from the movie, is when he went, "Hideous gelfling." I don't know why, but I just always remembered that line because I was like, "You're right. They are hideous, and it's okay to say that."
It's like they're all sucking helium too. It's all high pitched.
Yeah. So look. Oh,
The
I
big-
also called the moss eater the hippie girl because she just seemed like she also touches a flower and she's tripping balls. Like everything she was doing was just tripping off of hippie drugs, eating the moss and whoa, and then touching the flower. Whoa. I'm like, okay, this girl knows how to live, dude.
All right. Yeah.
But you've never seen the sun.
The cave people, they know what's up, dude. They know how to keep things interesting.
It's psychedelic, man. She talks to a tree. Trees don't talk. You're right, unless they do. That's a great line. I cracked up at that line, though.
You were gonna say something before we started talking about the hippie stuff.
Oh, it was just like it's hard to separate the show from the movie because we have such fond, distinct memories from the movie that it's very hard to separate our opinion of the show from the movie. But I've tried in this review to do that.
That's why I was actually really excited, Katie, to have you join us. After watching it, I was like, wow, this is going to be such a great different perspective because you're like 2 to 4 years younger than we are, and give or take, and
24.
You're definitely a different generation. So
96. Woo!
I feel like people our age, Michael and mine, will have a certain reaction to it because we'll base it off what we already saw. I feel like children will have a reaction based on the fact that it's kind of a kid's movie in some weird way. And that people like you, Katie, you're kind of straddling both sides. And it's interesting because you'll have fresh eyes on it. And I thought that it was trying to straddle a children's movie with kind of more adult themes and more of a but remember, children watching this will get lost in all of the mythology
and horrified. Like it's kind of like having a kid watch, say, a Star Trek movie. They find that they have characters that they like, but they have no clue what the heck's happening. Like, I like the dude with the weird forehead. You're going to have to be more specific. But like, just, okay, here's your action figure, run away. But this one, I feel like you can start the kids on it. They can have their favorite characters. And then maybe when they get older, you can introduce them more to the narrative.
I have a feeling.
That's what I like about it. Oh, I
was going to say, if you pop a kid in front of the TV screen, I have a feeling that a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old is not going to watch that first episode all the way through. They're going to get bored real quick. At first, they'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they just won't be able to connect to the puppets. But I think they'll be okay. We were. But I think that the story itself will just leave the kid kind of being like, okay, once the novelty of what they're seeing dies out, they're going to lose interest from the actual storyline.
I mean, I can't speak for I never saw the movie when I was a kid. I saw it later in life when I was like a young adult. Yeah,
ooh, the plot thickens. This is interesting. And you liked it from the right off the bat?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it was like we were into fantasy at that time, right? Like we loved fantasy.
Yeah, we were. We were at that time.
Yeah, totally at that time, we used to love fantasy, and now we hate it. And no. I mean, obviously, like at that, I think I was in high school, and somebody had mentioned it, and like somebody had a video cassette of it or something, like a VHS, obviously back then. And yeah, I remember watching it and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, because I loved the Muppets when I was a kid, and I loved Fraggle Rock, which Ryan probably would love also.
Hard pass on both of those.
It's Fraggle Rock, Ryan. It's just like a bunch of gelflings.
Oh god,
they're hideous. I can't watch something where everything is just makes me want to be like French about it.
It's just like a bunch of the Groton. It's just like a bunch of the cave gelflings.
Ugh.
Oh gosh, add a little bit of blush to that skin tone. Maybe it'd be a little bit better. They just seem so lifeless.
They definitely were. I wish they were lifeless.
Well, you might get your wish.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, no.
Good point.
No.
Well, all right. I'm listening.
Oh my gosh. On Watch the Second,
Well, speaking of which, we will be talking about that in just a moment. But before we do that, Katie, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to talk about you.
Oh, gosh.
Meteorologist Katie.
Yay.
First of all, thanks so much for joining us.
Katie.
That's right.
Oh,
the
gosh.
internet sensation.
By accident.
You have proof that you are an internet sensation at least 3 times over now. I feel like you've had at
Yeah.
least 3 viral videos, right?
I've had like a couple of viral videos, like just my fandom forecasts where I give the weather for specific TV show or movie fandoms. But then I went like mega viral in a way that just threw off my entire life because I joined TikTok. Because why not? It's the pandemic. It's fun. And I saw a video of a girl eating an icicle like Bugs Bunny with a carrot. And my initial reaction was, oh, God, don't do that because it's water that comes off your roof. And I just thought, I'll make a video of it after work. It's fine. Made a video saying basically icicles formed from water running off your roof. Guess what's on your roof? Poop. You're eating poop. And it got 16.5 million views on TikTok and like 3 million views on Twitter. Yeah, so far. It's still going. And
Wow.
I got called to
I've seen it.
views and oh yeah? That's awesome. No, I was on Inside Edition, Yahoo. I think there was a Fox News, CNN,
Wow.
the Weather Channel called the Weather
Nice.
Channel. My life called me.
Wow. Meteorologist Katie finally got on the Weather Channel, and all it took was a viral video.
And the great thing was the day I posted it was the day I went on vacation for 7 days. I took 7 days of work off and I was just sitting at home. It was not a vacation. I was working every single day, and it's like catching lightning in a bottle. I doubt it'll even happen again, but I'm still kicking out videos.
Wow. But you have, I think the first one you did that went viral was like you did like a Star Trek.
Star Wars, I thought.
I thought it
It
was
was Star
Trek
Wars
first.
and then Star Trek.
Okay. So Star Wars was the first. Did it go as viral as the Star Trek one?
It didn't go as viral. I did get Mark Hamill to comment on it, and that I found out.
That's better than viral.
I saw his comment when I was eating Thanksgiving dinner, and I dropped my phone in my plate, and my family was like, "Are you okay?" But no, the Star Trek one had more views, had more likes, and there are people out there who are like, "You can tell which fandom cares the most about this." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh no, don't start this fight, guy." I'm a member of both fandoms. I can't take sides.
Yeah, yes, you can. What do you like better, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek. It has Janeway, so Star Trek.
Wow, you heard it here first, people.
Or at least we heard it here first.
Yeah.
She's probably
And it has
said it
Scott
before.
Bakula, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
we heard it here first.
More love for Scott Bakula,
I
please,
love
ladies
that
and
man.
gentlemen. I'm not
Oh.
very happy with how little love Scott Bakula gets. Anytime you see a Star Trek poster with all these captains, it's missing Bakula. Anytime people are promoting anything, they're like, who's your favorite captain? He's not even in the poll. Like, come on. Or as he would say,
No, exactly.
Oh,
It's like, oh, you
boy.
can include 5 captains, and there's
Yeah.
Oh no, that I watched him on Quantum Leap, then Enterprise, and NCIS New Orleans. Beautiful man.
well,
Love
I
it.
wouldn't go as far as NCIS, but that's where we're getting a
New
little
Orleans
crazy here.
accent.
Anyway, and then after those, what was your next viral video that people can still go check out?
Oh, I did one for. Well, I've done a ton of fandom forecasts for like Animaniacs and Good Omens, and all of those went viral in their respective communities. Let's see what else.
Come on, hang on, don't gloss over it. The Animaniacs one was freaking insane. I know we talked about it last time, but I was just blown away by the amount of time and effort you must have put. How many months did you say it took you to memorize that?
Oh man, it probably took me a couple, two or 3 months to get it down, the first part, because then you have to learn I found out there was a new part that was very exclusive and you had to dig deep. And so you have to go like Ukraine and Estonia, here's Macedonia, New Caledonia, then Eastern Slavonia, Ivory Coast and Cape Verde, Andorra, the Solomon Islands, Dubai. And like trying to get that at that speed, I must have sounded insane to my neighbors because I just blasted that song on a loop for days because I knew the deadline was coming up and I had to crush it. So that took a lot of work. And then of course you had to wear the mask in the studio. So that breathing was hard when you're bouncing around like, and then I had to build all the computer graphics. So it's fun for everyone to view, fun for me to do, but the build up for it is just killer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I think you made Ryan tired just saying all that stuff.
Yeah, well, also, yeah, it shows that you deserve these viral videos. Like, there's actual, like, thought and effort put into these things, and I'm glad you get the recognition that you do because Come on, you put
you.
in a lot of time into it, and most of us would not.
Yeah. Well, like people have been asking me, where's your next fandom forecast? It's been, what, 3 months now, and you haven't put out a new one?
Slacker.
I'm going back and rewatching all the Doctor Who episodes so I can do a Doctor Who fandom forecast. And I have to get
what do you mean all the Doctor Who episodes? You mean all of them?
All the new ones
Oh,
in
okay.
order. The old ones I'm picking and choosing, but yeah, just Eccleston. I just watched Eccleston's last episode for the first time, and I didn't think I was going to cry, but I cried.
Yeah,
I might
Have
cry
you guys
if I ever watched
the
Doctor
first
Who
of
too.
Doctor Who?
No, we haven't.
We
and
haven't. We have had many
Oh.
people recommend it, but Ryan is just.
I haven't
so
seen any of
dead
those
against it, yeah.
recommendations. I don't think anybody's ever said WTF Doctor Whom.
Well, they will now. I guarantee
They
you, we're going to get
better.
people right now in the
Oh.
comments below.
We have to do
writing.
like original or reboot in
Well, then
2005.
it has to be like the very first of
Right.
the right. It can't be like the first of this
WTF.
Doctor and the first of that Doctor or the first one to play
WTF
Doctor.
Doctor Who, the unearthly child.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, it sounds hideous. Anyway, so
Yes, it's
Katie,
in black
we
and
will-
white. It's quite terrible.
we will include all of your awesome and interesting links in the description box below so people can check out all of your stuff.
Well, if you think the links are awesome, you should click on the links and go watch the things that's
and
on them.
see the content that those links bring you to. That's a good point. But anyway, we will do that. And we do appreciate you joining us. And we do think that you deserve all the good things that come your way because you
thank
make
you.
good things come our way.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me back. It's always a blast to watch the first and then come on and talk with you guys because you make it so much better.
So
All right, maybe.
now, no, but that's a great thing because that just made me think like, I remember you watched the X-Men. By the way, everybody at home, yes, it's the bottom line. Mike says it's the terrible twos,
Blah,
whatever.
blah,
moving
blah.
on. Okay.
Yeah.
Bottom line. But the thing is like you did X-Men with us, and I really enjoyed your take on it. I think we all kind of did. We all had fun with it. But I can't remember what you did the first time with us.
Oh, it was that British sci-fi show that
Red Dwarf. That's right.
That one.
Garbage Dwarf. Okay, so you kind of Red Dwarf. You were with me that it was total trash.
Beautiful,
No.
great. Yeah,
I think we all agreed that the
We would
X-Men
watch the
90s
second,
cartoon was a big win.
Yeah, we'd watch the second of both of those. Yeah.
Right. But this is it. Wait, what? No, the Red Dwarf was horrible.
You said you would watch the second.
Oh, no.
But it
You
doesn't
poor soul.
deserve that. Anyway, a lot of times we say we'll watch the second, even though it doesn't deserve it for other reasons. You know, like Michael said, he wouldn't watch the second of Be Positive because he wants to support that, but not because the show sucked. Anyway.
No, I said I would watch the second because I
You
wanted
wanna
to
support
see the
that.
train wreck.
Oh, I thought you wanted to like
gosh.
support and hope that it gets better.
No, it's not going to get better.
No positive spin
Watch Call Me
today.
Cat if you want that train wreck.
WTF,
Call Me Cat.
I wouldn't put you guys through that. Don't
That's
comment
okay.
it, guys.
We'll watch bad things.
Yeah. We love watching bad things because then we get to trash them.
I believe you were a little while ago. You said sandpaper to the eyeballs. Yeah.
You heard it here first. Meteorologist says that's no good. Okay. So the bottom line, the final two questions. Here we go. Question number 1 is, on a scale of 1 to 10, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, what would you give the first episode of Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance End, Begin, All the Same? Scale of 1 to 10.
End, begin, all the same. So at the risk of proving Ryan right, I will say it was an 8.1 for me.
Woo. Oh, you just added the 0.1 because I said 8.
No, actually, I wrote that in my notes actually before we
Okay.
even started. So I was like, dang it. How did he get so close?
I'm getting good with
Yeah,
this.
8.1. It was a little bit better than an 8 for me. It wasn't quite an 8.5 though. I did think that the beginning was a little slow, but I did enjoy the world. I mean, it's not so much world building because they already have the world built, but it was kind of had to explain the world to new viewers, so people who hadn't seen the Dark Crystal, the movie, And they did elaborate it on a little bit, talking about the different clans of the Gelflings, and they kind of had to add to these new elements that we didn't see before in the movie, and tell us the plot of the, not the plot of the movie, but the story behind the world and the kind of the mythology. So there was a lot of that in the beginning, and so it was a little slow for me, but I did enjoy it still. I mean, there was still a lot of beautiful visuals and cool puppets and
Visuals, man.
yeah, man, the trails.
Mm-hmm.
What? So yeah, 8.1 for me.
Katie, this is the real wild card.
Yeah.
What about you? Scale of 1 to 10. This first
I'm gonna
episode.
go, I think 5.5. Better than average.
Wow.
But purely
Not
for me
much.
because of the visuals. Yeah, not by much, because the story's a little out there for me, but the visuals are worth it because it's such a unique form of television. So
I think I successfully predicted that one too. Michael, what did you say?
No, I said that she would like it more than you predicted, so I was wrong on that.
Oh, okay. Okay. But she did have a good poker face. I thought I was going to be wrong because she's like saying all these great things about it. She's like, yeah, but honestly, it wasn't that good.
I'm an optimistic person, but when it comes down to it,
right, you got to be real. You got to be you.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I'm going to end up giving this a much higher rating than I thought I was going to give in the first 10 minutes. And it kept going up and up and up. I mean, it deserves all the highest marks for, the world building, for the artistry, for the beauty, all that stuff, for the fact that it stayed true to the source material. Can we call it the source material? I guess so. So all those give it huge points, and I appreciate what it's trying to do. And it did. I can't give that many compliments to the actual script, but the story around it, so 7, straight down the line, 7. I thought I was going to give it, about a 4 or a 5, but it improved,
It all started with a snot bubble.
It did. That's where my attention span came back. That's where I was like, oh, but it snapped me out of just going like, oh man. Anyway, so sometimes, fart jokes or whatever work, Michael.
Even on adults.
Second question, and the most important of the day. For the purposes of this podcast,
I mean, really, this whole thing is the bottom line, but this is really the bottom line.
Right. It's the second of the terrible twos. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, and begin, blah, 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 we get it. Now that the podcast is over and we're all free to move about the internet, would you watch, of your own volition, the second episode?
Katie Carr forced us to watch this first episode. Right, and I'm happy that she did, because I would watch the second episode. I would.
Pretty solid, yes.
There's they leave it off. They don't answer all the questions. I feel like there's more questions raised than answered in this first episode, and I definitely have a curiosity to see how these things play out.
Meteorologist Katie, would you watch the second of your own volition?
I probably wouldn't. I hate to say it, but I probably wouldn't. Just if it was a half-hour show, maybe. Since it's a full hour, probably not.
I think I'm a no too.
Wow. Like,
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it.
Why is there no joy in you?
I mean, there was just nothing, there was nothing, when that episode ended, there was nothing making me say, I've got to watch the next episode, or I'm interested to see the next episode. I feel like I would enjoy it as much as I did this one, maybe less, maybe a little more, but I don't think there was anything that made me feel like I needed to find out what happens next. I would be more interested to say, look up the Wikipedia of it and find out if, whatever the bullet point information is, which is where the Mystics came from. Is this a prequel? What happened? Just like answer like the questions, but I don't need to be taken on the journey throughout. So I think
You love to stop believing.
I think it's a no. I think it's a no from me, but I'm not opposed to watching it. I just
wouldn't. Yeah.
So
I mean, I remember hearing a lot of bad things about this when it first came out. Like people, I don't remember like exactly what people were saying, but I remember people didn't like it, and I was like, wow, that's weird. But then I also saw that it got like an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I guess people did like it. I don't know if people did or didn't like it, but whatever the case, it was not renewed for a second season.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so sad.
So apparently there are some questions that are still unanswered.
Well, I don't want it not to get renewed. That's messed up. I still want it to go.
Well, you have to watch it. Well, it's not renewed by Netflix. It doesn't mean somebody else can't pick it up, but
true.
For now, they're not moving forward. They said, I looked it up on Wikipedia. They have like a whole second season laid out.
Let them do it, you guys. Some people, Mike likes it. A lot of people. But here's the thing.
Well, if only people would watch the second episode, then maybe they could.
Well, look, I'll tell you why Rotten Tomatoes is not a great way to gauge how good or bad something is because that percentage is not on a scale of 1 to 10. That percentage is how many people said watch it or don't watch it. Gave it a yes or a no kind of thing. Or I think if they give it like a 6 or above, it's a yes, or a 5.5 or below, it's a no, or something like that. So all that's saying is that 88% of people basically said it's a 6 or better. And look, we almost got 100%. If it's at 5.5, it's 100%. So IMDb, I think, is a better way to check. Do you know what it said on IMDb?
I can tell you right now.
Because I feel like it would get still pretty good marks on IMDb overall.
8.3.
That's very good.
First episode, yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
Oh, it just goes up from there. 8.8, 8.9.
Don't make me want to watch the second. It gets better. All right. Well, that was really cool. I feel bad now, but whatever. I just got to be honest, right?
Well, that's makes me happy then.
Yeah, I feel bad that it didn't get renewed. I hope it does get renewed. It deserves it. They put a lot of attention into this. Anyway, so that's the end of our show, guys. Everybody, please, if you want us to review something favorably or unfavorably, whatever, just say WTF She-Ra or WTF Game of Thrones. Ooh. Or WTF Lord of the Rings on Amazon whenever it comes out in a couple years. And we want to thank meteorologist Katie for being so radical.
They're making Lord of the Rings show?
Yeah, on Amazon, dude. It's going to be the most expensive show ever.
Silmarillion or something?
Yeah, prequel.
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's more entertaining than the Silmarillion. Good God, that thing is boring as hell. I mean, I read it, but it was boring. Anyway. Right? You've read it. It's boring.
I have not read the whole thing.
It's just a collection of information. It's not really anyway.
I started reading
dictionary. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Read The Children of Huron. That's mildly entertaining. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. I think we've covered everything we normally do.
Like, subscribe.
All that kind of stuff.
Give us kisses.
Yeah. Anyway, what? But yeah, thanks everybody at home. Please share this video and give us comments down below. Thank you to meteorologist Katie. Thank you to Michael Kenyon Rosenberg for handling our taxes, because that is some complicated stuff, and he's a wizard, Harry. So what I'm
you don't
trying
get to make those. You didn't watch the movies. You don't get to make those references.
Fine. What about the guy that's like, oh, I'm Dobby. I died in the ocean. I'm Dobby, or whatever. What about that guy?
Just end the show.
Anyway,
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Dobby just looks like one of those hairless cats.
I thought it was a
number of the hairless cats named Dobby is insane.
Yeah, perfect. So that's about it. What I'm trying to say is that this podcast was a good time talking about a good show.
This podcast was loving, touching, feeling another.
This
Ew.
podcast was full of journey references and snot. Something you cannot ask for more. It was great.
Awesome. That's a good one. And also, don't forget what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Don't forget, please, to watch the first of things, please.
Oh, there we go. See you next time.